Welcome back to the HVAC Accelerated Success Program. There are two types of flight plans that a pilot can file: VFR, Visual Flight Rules, and IFR, Instrument Flight Rules. When flying VFR, you cannot fly through clouds and need to keep a safe distance from all potential collisions. Under VFR, you are responsible for seeing other aircraft and obstacles to avoid collisions. Flying VFR allows a pilot to choose any flight path that they would like. When visual flights cannot be performed safely, a properly rated pilot would file an IFR flight plan with an IFR rated aircraft. In theory, this type of flight can be performed in zero visibility. An IFR flight takes place in controlled airspace and requires filing a flight plan. The routing is not entirely at the pilot's discretion. Established waypoints and airways must be used, and things like minimum airway altitude determine the altitude for the flight, minimum radar vectoring altitude, and traffic situations. When flying IFR, a pilot relies 100% on their instrument panel and outside inputs such as air traffic control, not on the visual cues outside the plane. Many small to medium-sized businesses have filed a VFR flight plan and rely on visual cues as well as gut and instinct. For a business to grow, the owner or the pilot needs to create a flight plan to begin relying on the instrument panel and other outside influences to make the appropriate decisions. In regards to leading the business to an on-time arrival at the intended destination. Business is a series of short journeys or waypoints, each with specific outcomes or desires. The better your plan and the better your ability to measure specific aspects of that plan, the better you will have the ability to achieve your goal. During this session, we'll introduce you to critical dashboards for all HVAC businesses, and we'll see where our companies are heading today.
We're excited to be part of this accelerated HVAC program with Goodman, and thought we'd just introduce ourselves and let you know a little bit about who Teamworks Group is. We've been in business for 25 years in the business service area, everywhere from business intelligence dashboards, payroll, HR, benefits, and everything in between. Our main goal is to help you focus on what you went into business for, and that's in servicing your customers. And we take care of a lot of the rest of the stuff that most people don't want to spend their time doing. And so that's an introduction to us, and we'll jump into what we're doing for these contractors to help them get organized and see what their business is doing.
Awesome. Thanks, Marshall. So we've been working with Goodman over the last several months, developing a HVAC business intelligence dashboard. So a dashboard specific to your industry. So in connection with Goodman and this HVAC Accelerator program, we've developed a dashboard that will provide you with the data you need to see so you can start capitalizing on the data industry and track specific things in your business so you can measure them for the sole purpose and goal of actually making improvements to the specific elements of your business that you may or may not be able to see or capture right now. This BI tool pulls in all the different elements of your software stack. So as you see on the screen, we have QuickBooks, Google Analytics from your Facebook or from your website, as well as Facebook. We can pull in your scheduling. We can pull in the data from your CRM, as well as your marketing data. And obviously, this allows you to reduce the time spent on gathering all these reports, the time spent on analyzing all those reports, and the time spent on trying to understand what they all mean in connection with each other. One of the challenges that we see on a regular basis with contractors trying to get a dashboard like this, there are three main, barriers to entry. The first one is it just costs a lot to buy a license. The second one is it costs a lot to maintain it month to month. The third one is you got to have some data engineer guy on staff. So now you're spending money in payroll just to make sure the dashboard stays up and running. And what we've done with Goodman is we've eliminated all of those headaches and created a dashboard that's kind of like a template. It's something that we can just roll out to you very simply But like Marshall said earlier, we manage everything for you. We take care of all the data management. We take care of the dashboard management, making sure it works, that its runtime is up. All we do is connect to your data and power the dashboard with your data. So it's specific HVAC dashboard empowered, built for your business, so you can grow and make better decisions. So as you see on this graph here, you can understand cash position, visualize your break even, uncover costs per marketing segment, understand your revenue per marketing segment, dollars per profit or profit per hour worked, dollars per hour worked, et cetera, et cetera. And again, with Goodman's help, we've been able to come up with an HVAC specific dashboard. It's not something that we've just sat down and come up with ourselves. With Goodman's expertise, we've been able to build a dashboard that will change the way you do business, improve the way you do business so you can be more profitable, so you can be more efficient, and in the end, so you can serve your customers better. And then what we'll do is walk through some of the dashboards for those who are part of the accelerator program and just show you some of the challenges that we found with actually bringing the dashboard up to speed due to organization in the company. And so one of the things dashboards do is it kind of encourages you to get your ducks in a row, if you will, make sure everything is in line and in place so the dashboard works for you, not necessarily against you. So let's take a look at that dashboard right now. All right, so this dashboard has the updated dials that we were talking about. Of course, it still has all the same stuff. Just for a refresher, this dial shows you your cash buckets in relation to receivables. You can drill into this, and it shows you all the cash amounts. This is demo stuff, right? So if you guys are redoing all your stuff, this is just demo. But it'll show you your cash buckets and the dollar value per cash bucket. And then you can even drill into each cash bucket and see some more information there. This one is your receivables, and it gives you a percentage of your receivables to cash. So in each of these different buckets, you can drill in and you can see how much money is sitting in each of your receivables. So you have an idea of what's sitting out there that you can go collect, start capturing that money. And then you can even drill in to each of these buckets to see who owes you, like who the contacts or the accounts are that actually owe the money. So you've got a big one as an example, right? Hey, these guys owe us 29 grand. Let's go get it, right? Okay. Cash position takes the total of your cash in your bank accounts plus the total of the amount in your receivables, not including 91 and over, gives you your cash position. And this sign right here, we changed it to give you a visual. So as like if you're less than 1 here on your expense to cash ratio, this would be a dead battery. And then as you get above 1, it goes to a half filled battery. If you get to 2, then it's a full battery, and then it goes up to the shield, then a trophy, right? So it just gives you an idea. The goal is to be at 3. You want your cash to cover at least 3 months of your expenses. Yeah. Okay. These are the other ones that we already had. This is your gross margin. Of course, it's filterable with this gauge right here. Give you a gross margin with this time range, so you see where you're at, and also shows you your revenue per day during this same time range, filtered right here, and then your break even. And the goal here is to be at least right here by the end of every month, and this resets every month. And so you want to be bringing in more than you're spending every month. That's what this shows you in a very quick visual, so you see where we're at financially. Okay. And then these 2 cards are the ones that we finally completed with Goodman. And again, for reference, they put together a series of primary indicators and secondary indicators that they felt were necessary for HVAC contractors to track. Okay. And these 2 were some of the most important ones. This tracks your service capacity, and this one tracks your install capacity. And by capacity, the way the calculation works is you identify how many techs you have or how many service guys you have, and then you run through just a very simple set of questions to identify how many working days do you have in a month, how many working days do you feel like get sacrificed to bad weather or to sickness, and then what are the total number of working days you can have, and then how many jobs per day could each crew do. You take those, you multiply them. Okay, you could probably do 160 total jobs in a month from an opportunity standpoint, right? That each job averages at $120 a job. So your total capacity
for install or service is X dollars, right? So what this dial does is it shows you where you're sitting in reference to that capacity. So if you've got 4 techs and this dial right here is sitting on this side of green, it means they're not busy enough.
Yeah.
Right? If it's on this side of green, it means, hey, you've got some good demand and you might want to either think about hiring more techs or be very, very, very cognizant of your customer service, right? Because you might be putting people off a little bit because you're too busy, right?
Yeah.
So again, if you're red all the way down here, it means you're losing jobs because you don't have enough people to serve the jobs, right? So very quick dials you can look at here to see where you're standing. And the way they work is it takes the revenue from your books that you've identified as install revenue or as maintenance or service agreement revenue.
Okay.
Okay. And then it brings it in and it combines it with the calculation from this form. So you'd go in here and you'd fill in this form. And just to be clear, let me back up. You just click this link right here and you can update this anytime.
Okay.
So when it's, let's say you hired somebody, right? Oh, I got to update this so my capacity shows appropriately, or if you let somebody go, whichever one.
Good. Okay. So we just hired 2 technicians going into our off season. Is this where I put it?
Yeah,
Got
you
it.
do this.
Okay.
So put your company name, the email address you use to log in, how many techs do you have, right? So it can be a very small company for one, or a very large company, of course. And then number of completed calls per day for tech. This is your ideal, right? This calculator is how could we perform at our highest possible capacity, right? So if I've got 5 techs, if I choose 5 techs here, and I think each tech can complete 4 calls per day.
4 calls per day.
Right. We're just spitballing here, right? Number of working days in a month, we're going to go with 22, taking into account potential weekends, holidays, whatever else. Estimate of down days per month due to bad weather. We're going to go with 3 down days per month. Estimated down days per month due to sickness, maybe 2. How many calls are done for recalls, right? So how many times does the tech have to go back out, not doing a new job, but having to fix something, right? It wasn't done correctly.
So callback.
Callbacks, right? So we can change this to what it needs to be, but what percentage, right? Oh, probably 2%.
I'm a 2%.
Or how many jobs are warranty calls? Well, let's say 5%. New equipment calls, 2%, whatever, right? You put in whatever you feel like it needs to be, or whatever it is that these are your benchmarks, right? You can adjust these when you need to. And then what's your average dollar value?
Question. So warranties, is this a perfect example when we do? No, because that would be on maintenance.
Yeah, that would be maintenance.
Yeah. Yep. So, and I'm thinking, because right now we're heavy into our maintenance, or MFOs are higher than our DFOs, meaning our maintenance calls are higher than our demand. So
right.
that's not here. Okay. So warranty would be something as for callback.
Yeah. So it'd be like, you sold them a piece of equipment and it broke. It wasn't because you did the job wrong. It was it broke and the warranty's covering it. So you got to go and fix it.
Okay. All right. Got it.
So what's the average dollar value of a service or maintenance agreement visit? We'll say $120. Okay. Then you submit that. And then what it does on the back end, it'll run the calculations for all this and give us a highest possible revenue per month based on these numbers, and a highest possible revenue per day, a highest possible total jobs per month. And then we run those calculations on the back end and it gives us this dial.
Got it.
So you're sitting, as if this was real numbers, you're sitting at 74% capacity. Okay. So it tells you right away, this is where you're sitting. Same thing is true for the install. You click the link, pulls up the form, you just fill out the form, and then it updates everything on the back end. And then let's see, leave that. And then these dials will update and it'll tell you where you're sitting for capacity. So you can the other thing it does is it pulls from your CRM info and shows us or tells us what jobs you have coming up in the future. So whatever you have booked that's under 30 days out, it brings it in here so you can see, okay, our capacity right now based on the jobs we have booked, based on the number of techs we have, is we're under capacity. We need more work. Right? Techs aren't busy enough. This is how both of these are sitting right now. You can see I need more work because my techs, I'm paying them to do nothing. Right? So it'll pull from your CRM the jobs you have booked that you haven't serviced yet, but it'll also pull from the jobs this month that you have serviced to give you an idea on where you're sitting for your capacity. Okay. So again, the whole idea of this dashboard is to give you at a glance data to make intelligent decisions about your business from a financial standpoint and from a basic sales standpoint, right? So this isn't like a full-blown sales dashboard. This lets you see where you're sitting financially. I need more money. We're not, our techs aren't selling enough. We're breaking even. That's good. It means we're bringing in more than we're spending, but our techs can be busier. There's a whole lot of data you can pull out of just looking at this dashboard. And again, for example, if you wanted to drill in, you click this, click the link, pulls up a new page so you can see it bigger. So I can drill in right here and see all my buckets, drill in right there here, see all the customers in this bucket, and get an idea of who owes me. And I can task my accounts receivable people, hey, go collect. Why haven't we got this, et cetera. So this is all dummy data, right? So it's not sensitive information.
Okay.
So wanted to show you these two dials and that this dashboard is now complete. So as soon as you guys are ready, we can start pulling everything in for you on your dashboard. Okay?
It's going to be easier with field edge versus service time, correct?
Yes, it'll be easier with field edge versus service time.
Yeah, that's what we're going because I have the back office pulling their hair out. So
yeah. So let me show you the sales one now. Here's our opportunities by month, year over year. Right, so you can compare and see where you're trending in different times of the year.
Compared to
look ahead and look behind. Okay, we know at this period of time we're low in this type of job. Let's see what we can do to improve that or plan for it.
Okay. So let me ask you this: where is that data is for contractors in Vegas, or is it just my data?
No, this is all dummy data that we've pulled. Okay. So it would be an example if it was your data. Right.
Okay.
You can see in June, you're really high, and in July and August, you're really low. So you have two really big months throughout the year, and then a lot of really low months. So you got to figure out how to adjust that so you're more stable, right? This is leads by stage. So if you have stages for your leads, they call in, okay, where are you at? We need to sell them. So you have pipeline stuff, and we can set that up custom. But this shows you how many. So when you mouse over it, you notice that this data also adjusts. So if I move my mouse over to determine needs here, all the green bars will highlight and all the green stuff in the funnel will highlight as well. So it's all linked together. So you can see that data together.
Okay.
You can see where you're sitting for all your deals. Man, we got a whole bunch of deals sitting in determined needs. Why are they stalled there? What's going on? Right? So these are kind of your leads analysis cards.
Okay.
The deals here, and this shows you
got close rate.
What's that?
You got close rate. Love it.
Yeah, and so a couple things that I'll get to in a minute with this close rate stuff is we can do that by product. So you can have a close rate by install, close rate by maintenance agreement, close rate by DFO, close rate by MFO. So we can really break that out, right? Then on the finance dashboard too, once you have your book set up, okay, we can have a little filter right here so you can break it out. So you can see all your cash stuff by department. You can see all your revenue and margins by department, right? But again, your books have to be set up appropriately for that. Okay. So in your deal stages, this right here, this shows you your won lost deals by month. This is your lost one. This is your won deals. So you can see that in this particular case, this company is losing more than they're winning, which is normal, right? But it gives you a really clear visual of where you're sitting with your close one, and this gives you your rate, right? For the entire business, you're closing 35% of your deals. Yeah. Okay. This shows you the won lost by source. Okay. So everything in green is the deals you won that have come from the mailers, that have come from all the different partner referrals, just the different channels, customer referral, categories. Same thing over here, closed deals by lead type. So these people needed a furnace installed. These people needed plumbing help. These people needed AC. So this business that we've set up has most of their deals, most of the revenues coming from AC work, right? Then we can set up teams if you have teams. So this shows how the different teams are doing versus in a closed one situation. So losing a lot of deals. This enterprise team is losing a lot of deals. And then you can drill into all of this as well. This is another type of chart. We can pull up closed deals by source. So customer referrals, let me close this out. Customer referrals is you're closing more deals from customers, which makes sense, right? Hey, my buddy told me you guys are good. Can you come fix my stuff? You should close more of those deals, right? So that's those. Here's your revenue buckets. This shows you your revenue by type, by month.
Sweet, dude. So yeah, so I can just look at, because right now I'm searching, like I told you, I've got 5 different spreadsheets, and that's where I've my campaigns, my advertising, it's all here. This is
it'll all be right here. And we can, when you start having when we start bringing in your campaigns, so we'll get into your digital marketing in a second, but when we start pulling that in, we can have this not only is revenue by lead type, this is revenue by campaign. Then we can start doing ROI. Okay, you had this many leads come in from this campaign and you brought in this much revenue, right? So what's your investment return on that? And then you can see where to spend the best money to get the best return, because you're tracking it.
Yeah, that's why we got Service Titan, because Service Titan's the one that had this kind of information. So this is huge, man. This is really, really huge.
Right. So, and you can, of course, drill in, you can mouse over stuff, and you'll notice that everything on these, they all adjust together. Okay. So you're looking at the same data together. All these cards adjust all around. This is revenue by job type. It's called a tree map. Okay. So you can, just by looking at this, you can see where you're bringing in the most revenue. Right. You don't have to look at numbers. You just see it. Oh, that box is bigger. This box is bigger than this box. So we're making more money here. But, well, to be clear, and what's beneficial about this isn't you're making more money. This is you are bringing in more revenue.
There you go. Gross
margin for your commercial service.
And for
right. So then you come back over to the finance dashboard, you filter it by your commercial service, and you look at your margins. If your margins are good, then you know you're making the most money there. And we can even create specific cards that show revenue by job type and then margin by job type.
So and that was one of the questions, but especially with that when it comes to, because I run different gross margins on my different departments from commercial to, got it, thank you. Yeah,
exactly. And then these are just, we were playing around with a number of different options, but there's lots of ways to show the data. Our goal is to make it as unconfusing and unbrain power necessary as possible, right? We want you to be able to look at it, see what's going on, and then drill in to get to the data to see if you need to analyze more stuff.
Love it.
So these are the 2 dashboards Goodman is really wanting to get in the hands of contractors. When you give us the green light on Field Edge, then we'll start to pull all that together. As far as a like next steps, once we have those things together, we'll sit down and have a conversation about how you're doing your marketing and how you're tracking those things. Just for my reference right now, are you guys doing any digital marketing?
No. Well,
no, not that. Okay, not that we're spending money on. Can I say it that way?
Yeah. So there's no Facebook ads, there's no Google ads, there's no retargeting, there's no remarketing coming from your website. None of that's happening online.
Not yet.
Okay.
I know what I want to do, and we're in conversations with, but realistically, until it's mine,
we can't do it yet.
Can't do it yet.
Sure. Okay. So we'll hold off on all that. We'll start with the books, and we'll start with the Field Edge data and start powering what cards we can power. And then as you guys bring on more elements, then we'll map in those elements as well. Before we do that, do you have any questions on these boards?
Man, exciting. Awesome. Awesome.
On the next one, we've got BLR. Again, different information showing. They're moving forward on getting their expense to cash ratio in place. The goal is 3. We want to make sure that all companies are at least 3 months of cash on hand. They're definitely moving in that direction, and so there's some good opportunity there. Looking at Top Tech Mechanical, they're also getting their books organized as well. They're mapping to the Goodman recommended chart of accounts, and we'll be able to see some improvements in their gross margin. It's 100% gross margin, And so as their books get mapped better, then this margin will be able to be tracked more appropriately, be able to see it, whether or not it's tracking in this area right here at the 45%. So lots of progress has been made, great opportunities to organize and improve the processes of the business. Look forward to being able to help improve those processes, improve the data coming in. Like we've said, data in, data out. And what this dashboard provides is a way for you to make sure the data that's coming in is organized well. Anything to add?
I would just like to reiterate what Kyle said and talk about, the importance of getting organized. And you'd be surprised that, what your business can do once you have your ducks in a row, and you can see what your business is doing on actual data. It provides a platform for growth and for you achieving goals, because if you don't know where you're starting from and where you're trying to get to, and you can't track that, that makes it really hard.
Max Comfort's been fantastic to work with, and getting their book set up and getting the dashboard set up has been great. Just one thing to point out, with the break even here, this is just a matter of getting transactions categorized quickly. It looks like they're doing good on their cash and receivables. They've got some money there.
And so basically this is almost calculating a utilization rate for our service techs and our installation crews. But that's all highly dependent on how we code our revenue by either new installs versus service, right?
Exactly. Yep. So in your books, if your chart of accounts are set up correctly and you're tracking, hey, this revenue is an install revenue, this revenue is service revenue, then it'll come in. And that's part of what this program's for, right? Is so you can get your books set up correctly so you can track all your revenue sources, all your expense sources, and see what's going on with them. My action items then are, I'm going to pull in that data for you. I will share the dashboard with you so that you have access and you can start looking at it. On your side, as soon as you have your books done and all of your transactions have been categorized and into the Goodman recommended chart of accounts you have set up, let me know. Then we'll refresh all the data, and all of this information will reflect your status. Okay.
Okay, let's do this as well, Kyle, whenever you get a chance. Let's actually refresh the data, because I know we have done some work with our accountants to kind of update some of the coding. It may not be 100% correct against what Goodman recommends for the chart of accounts, but I want to see if you're able to refresh and pull what it generates here in the dashboard, and maybe I can kind of then pinpoint if there's anything else that we need to correct with our accountants.
And then as you have other stuff come on board with different platforms, advertising, CRM, then we can integrate that data as well.
Yeah, and one thing that we're kind of a little bit behind, and I do recognize that that's mostly on my end, because you guys have done a really good job in creating some wonderful templates, but we're still very behind on integrating a lot of our internal systems.
Yeah, and that's not, we're not here to stress you out or to give you pressure. We'll work with you where you're at. So when you're ready to take the next step and get some of those tools in place, then we'll be able to power more of the cards on the dashboard.
Sounds good.
The way this tool works, the concept of business intelligence is the idea of eliminating the time that is spent on capturing data, running reports from that data, and then analyzing those reports to find insights on how to improve the different processes in your business so you can make more money, right? At the end of the day, it's about improving the things that you do. Let's improve the way we're making money. Let's improve the way we're serving our customers. Let's improve the way we are tracking different things. Let's improve the way we're marketing, all those different things.
And that's the case across all of these indicators, that you can now, instead of hoping that you have money there or looking at your bank account, and since there's money there, going and buying something, you know exactly what your business is doing and where you need to focus resources and where the plane's going based on the indicators that you're seeing.
Yeah, totally. You're relying on your instrument panel rather than your gut influence or other things that you've done before. Trust your instruments, trust your gauges. Primary indicators are financial. Secondary indicators, we can bring in information from Google Analytics and your website and other sales data. So you have, again, instruments that you can trust for the data you need to see in order to make intelligent decisions moving forward.